All right, so I'm going to start out today in John 19. But first of all, I want to give all the praise, all the glory unto Yahawah Bahashem, Yahawahshi Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect. So I'm in John 19 today with the Spirit. It says, Then Pilate therefore took Yahawahshi and scourged him. And scourging means whip. You whip somebody. And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they put on him a purple robe. So this would be like the police of today mocking Yahawahshi, putting a crown of thorns. Because we always tell you the modern day Roman soldier would be these police out here, these cops, right? And said, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him with their hands. So they were literally hitting Yahawahshi, physically smacking him, punching him. See? Pilate therefore went forth again and said unto them, Behold, I bring him forth to you, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. See, Pilate, he knew that Yahawahshi was innocent, and he wasn't trying to put Yahawahshi to death because he knew he was innocent. All right. Verse 5, Then came Yahawahshi forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold, the man. When the chief priests, therefore, and the officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. Again, Pontius Pilate, he knew that Yahawahshi was innocent. But again, the chief priests, the officers, the Jews, the soldiers, you have to remember, Israelites were among those people. There were chief priests that were Israelites. There were chief priests that were, there were officers that were Israelites. There were the soldiers. Some of the soldiers were Israelites. A lot of these people that were saying crucify him were Jake. And prove right here, verse 7. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of the Most High. So you see that the Jews were against Yahawahshi. And let's get 1 Corinthians 1 and 23. Let me get that real quick. 1 Corinthians 1 and 23 says, But we preach Mashiach crucified, unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. All right, so the Greeks, they were, they just straight up foolishness, meaning non-believers. And the Jews, which were the Israelites, he was a stumbling block. Yahawahshi was a stumbling block unto Jake at that time, just like the prophets were stumbling block. They don't believe we are who we are. The Jews and a lot of the other tribes, they didn't believe that Yahawahshi was the Son of the Most High Yahweh. All right? They didn't have the faith. John 19, and that's why they were saying, crucify him, crucify him. Then the Jews were saying, hey, we have a law that he ought to die. All right? Verse 8, When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was more afraid, and went into the judgment hall, and saith unto Yahawahshi, Whence art thou? But Yahawahshi gave him no answer. Because remember, we talked about it yesterday or day before yesterday on the lesson, how Yahawahshi, he didn't open his mouth up, right? Woo! Oh wait, no, that's not it. I thought I pulled it up right away. But let's see. All right, verse 7. Isaiah 53 and 7. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. And remember, that word dumb, it just means you don't speak, that you don't talk. So Yahawahshi, he was dumb in the presence of Pontius Pilate and the Jews and the chief priests and the soldiers and the officers, all the people that were, cheering to crucify him. Right? He didn't speak. He was just he knew the prophecy. He knew what had to be fulfilled, and part of it was him being sacrificed. All right. So John 19 and 9. I'm going to read it again. And went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Yahawahshi, Whence art thou? But Yahawahshi gave him no answer, fulfilling that prophecy of Isaiah 53. All right, keep reading. Verse 10. Then saith Pilate unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? Knowest thou not that I have the power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? He was he was offended at that when Yahawahshi didn't speak to him, didn't answer him. He's like, don't you know that I can release you? Don't you know that I have the power to kill you or release you? Basically what he was telling him. But again, Yahawahshi, he was ready for to fulfill the prophecy, right? Verse 11, Yahawahshi answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. Therefore he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. So Yahawahshi is like, hey, you don't have no power unless my Father gave you the power to do this. All right? And from thenceforth, Pilate sought to release him. So see, Pilate, he knew Yahawahshi was innocent, and he was like, it was in his conscience. He wanted to release him. It says, But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. So they were like, they were making Pontius Pilate saying, you ain't faithful to the king. You ain't faithful to Caesar. Right? Verse 13. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahawahshi forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour, he saith unto the Jews, Behold, your king. But they cried out, Away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, We have no king but Caesar. And this is just like the 2/3 right now, right? They're like, hey, our king is Trump or Biden. You see, they don't believe. They don't have that faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right. Their allegiance is to this Edomite, this so-called white man. That's who the 2/3 believe is God. They believe he's God. They believe he's the Messiah, right? Because they set up, well, the 2/3 didn't set him up, but Esau set himself up to be God, like it tells you in Thessalonians. And that's who our people, the 2/3, that's who they actually pray to. They pray to this white Jesus, right? And then they believe their king, which a modern day king would be in Babylon, America, a president. They vote for their kings here, and they think they actually have an election. So they have trust and faith in these so-called kings, these so-called presidents. All right. So their alliance is to the presidents or to these politicians, not to the Most High and Yahweh and Yahawahshi. So it says, we have no king but Caesar. And remember, these were Israelites saying this. It wasn't just Esau doing this. The Israelites, because remember, we read it. To the Jews, Yahawahshi was a stumbling block. To the Greeks, he was foolishness, meaning that was just something stupid, just like to these Edomites. And remember, there were also Israelites who were calling themselves Greeks in those times. because they grew up in the Greek customs. So when it says Greeks, you could include some of those Greeks, so-called Greeks, were Israelites by citizenship. All right. So we're at verse 16. It says, "Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified, and they took Yahawahshi and led him away." All right. So, just wanted to do a quick lesson. I started reading in John 19, and I figured I would go over this because I really haven't done too many lessons about Yahawahshi's crucifixion, or when he was, mocked. So, Lord's will, I'll do more, another lesson in this same chapter. So I'm going to close out on that. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor, all the love unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawahshi, Bahashem, Rekah, Quadash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect. Shalom.